Before this video starts, please note that this patch analysis is from the day 1 patch and may not reflect the current state of the game if future changes are made. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoy the video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Update Week, the series where I read and explain each new patch made to PokeNexus. Over the past couple weeks, the devs have been making a lot of new changes. This video was supposed to come out last week, but I wanted to include everything that was planned into one video, and overall, I think you'll be pretty happy with what they've changed. In this week's patch, or I guess technically in the past 3 weeks, we've gotten a Legendless Encounters rework, a PC overhaul including a search function, some extra changes on how syncing works, and a few others. So without further ado, let's go over this week's patch notes. Today is the 4th of September, however this video will be coming out late since I have to take time to edit. Also, my schedule's been pretty busy, so that might factor into that as well. Today's patch comes from Void. As always, you can view the full patch notes by clicking the first link in the description. I know everyone probably wants to hear about the Legendless Encounters change first, but I want to go over the earlier patches before we get into that. First, I just want to really quickly note the August 8th patch. It didn't add a whole lot, but what it did add was the Auto Mega Evolve setting for Wild Encounters and the Vermilion Rope. The Vermilion Rope is an item that allows you to warp to the middle of Vermilion City without changing your Pokemon Center. These are great for people that participate in Clan Wars or if you just want to teleport to somewhere near a ferry. These can be purchased for 1k in the Vermilion City Pokemart. Alright, with that little tangent out of the way, we can head over to the first patch we'll be discussing. The PC storage system has had a complete overhaul, which includes a new look, a way to jump between boxes easily, and most importantly, the search system. You can easily switch boxes by clicking on the page number at the bottom and typing in your desired page. Moving over to the search system, on the top right of the storage window, you'll see the search button. You can search by species, nature, ability, level, catcher, and whether or not it's shiny or has an item. The searching feature applies to all boxes, so for any search entry, it will search all of your PC boxes. For example, if I want to search for specifically a Rashi Veltal holding choice specs with a catcher of Super Andrew 04, I can do that. And you can do any combination of these. If I just type in Alakazam, I'll get all of the Alakazams in all of my boxes. The search functionality is going to help players a lot with organization, and for the most part, it works really well. I don't really use it personally because all of my Pokemon that I've used recently are just kinda here. But for those of you that use multiple of the same Pokemon but with different builds, this is amazing. Definitely one of the best quality of life changes so far. Another patch that was added in is the Growth Charm rework. Before this rework, the Growth Charm boosted your experience and had a money penalty. Now with the new rework, the Growth Charm now just gives out 100% more experience with no drawbacks. If multiple Pokemon are holding Growth Charms, the experience will be allocated to the lowest team slot. The Growth Charm also does not affect any drop rates, nor does it affect your money. Pretty solid rework, nothing to complain about. Okay, now here's the big one. Legendless Encounters have been completely reworked to now boost both your legend chances and your sync chances. There's a lot to go over, so let's just start with the basics. Before this change, Legendless Encounters only gave any sort of boost once you hit 100k encounters. From then onward, you got a small boost to your encounter rate every 25k encounters afterwards before capping out at 600k. With the new system, Legendless Encounters are effective immediately. The devs' goal with this whole change is to make it less common that you're going to be encountering legendaries at the extremes. They want to make it seem more like you're going to get that 1 in 125k base chance than before. This change aims to cut out all the bullshit about getting to like 300k encounters without finding a legendary. On the opposite side though, it's less common that you'll be getting legendaries within a couple encounters as well. The boost starts off slow, then once you get to around the standard legendary encounter rate, so we're talking about maybe around the 100k mark, the boost will shoot up exponentially. With this new LLE system, you can now get up to a maximum encounter boost of an extra 80% to your legendary encounter rate around the 200k mark. You're still most likely going to be getting your legendary within that 95 to 100k LLE area. However, you can still get legendaries in one encounter or 200k encounters. It's all still up to RNG, and you could either get exceptionally lucky or exceptionally unlucky. So Legendless encounters now feel like you're actually getting closer to finding a legendary instead of just mindlessly grinding until one pops up. Moreover, Legendless encounters are now Pokemon specific. So instead of having one set value that you can use for any legendary, you'll now have separate values for each separate legendary. So for example, you can have like 20k for Zapdos, 70k for Kyogre, and like 10 for Latios. If you encounter the Kyogre, you'll reset your Kyogre LLE, but the others will be unaffected. You can still do /LLE to see your current Legendless encounters. But what if you have Legendless encounters left over from before the patch? Well, doing the command /set LLE will let you assign your previous Legendless encounters to a legendary of your choice. And it can be any legendary. You can set your encounters to something you haven't even hunted yet. For example, I'm currently hunting Ho-Oh, but since I want to hunt Kyogre eventually, I allocated all of my previous LLE to Kyogre since I'll still be gaining LLE by hunting Ho-Oh. However, you do have to transfer all of it in one go. They don't have partial transfers yet. But wait, we've got one more thing. The sync rate of legendaries got buffed. Before this change, legendaries had a base sync rate of 36%. 26% from the base sync rate and 10% extra. But now after this patch, your legendary sync rate is tied to your Legendless encounters. This means you'll start at the base sync rate of 26%, and as your Legendless encounters go up, so does your sync rate. This caps out at 200k LLE, where you are guaranteed to sync your legendary. This means that around the time you'll be encountering a legendary, let's say like around the 100k mark, you'll have about an average 63% chance of syncing your legendary. And guess what? Shop legendaries have also received this buff. While shop legendaries are not affected by Legendless encounters, because that would be stupid, they have had their base sync rate increase to a flat 63% chance, which matches the rough estimation for encountering one. One more note as well, the mining legendaries now use LLE. However, because mining encounters go slower than regular ones, Legendless encounters for the Regis are going to be increasing by 3 instead of 1. You'll only gain LLE for mining legends if you encounter a Pokemon through mining. You'll also be getting LLE at random between each of the 3 Regis. So you might get some Registeel LLE in the first encounter and Regirock LLE the second. And again, this is Pokemon specific. So if you find a Regirock, you'll still have extra LLE for Regice and Registeel. All of these changes mean that more players are going to be getting synced legendaries, which is going to help with building both PvE and PvP teams equally. Now, when this change was first announced, people really didn't like it. If I recall correctly, this was because it felt a little too easy to get a perfect legendary, and that good legendaries are just going to tank in price and bad ones would be pretty much worthless. I don't know if this sentiment is still held, but I'd really like to hear what you guys think of this new LLE system in the comments below. Personally, I kinda like it. You can still have a chance not to sync a legendary around the 100k mark, though we'll have to wait and see on whether or not this is actually balanced and whether or not they should lower the chance. I like the fact that LLE is now legendary specific, so I don't have to run around and waste my LLE getting something I don't want, though I think the reasoning for this change was a bit odd. But please, by all means, let me know what you all think of this change down in the comments. I'd love to hear your stance on it. Now those were all the big changes, now let's move on to some of the smaller changes to end off this video. A few spawns were changed in some of the Spear Pillar maps, adding some Pokemon and removing others. This didn't really affect any of the leads, however, at least not to my knowledge, so it's just a cool switch up. Icons for swarms and gold rushes were also added to the top left of the screen so they don't look out of place anymore. Running and teleporting has been re-enabled in Altering Cave, so you can now run grind there if you so choose. The green Sync S has been moved from the right side to the left side of the health bar. It looks a little weird now, but I'll probably get used to it. And of course, we've got small bug fixes and a few more miscellaneous updates. And that's pretty much it for this week's patch notes. This new change to Legendless encounters is going to change up the game in an entirely different way, and I'm curious to see how it all plays out. Let me know what you guys think of this patch in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.